All right, what is happening, everybody? What is going on this Friday or Saturday morning, depending where you are in the world, afternoon or whatever? Here I'm in Central U.S., so it's 11:40. All right, so basically we want to look at what happened in the market today. How did I perform? I'll just tell you off the bat, I did not perform well today. We took losses today for sure. Um, Remember, I kept Apple, so it's a lesson learned for new traders, beginners. When you're in profit, I had about 60% profit at a particular time on Apple, and got greedy. I was looking for more instead of just taking what was available at the time and then getting back in for the potential of um, the stock price to rise in the pre-market. So it fell, like a lot of stocks today. It fell in the pre-market. Um, and the other part of that is, especially I had my contracts were expiring today, so Theta hit it real hard compared to Thursday. So I wasn't thinking about Theta and how much I would lose once the option contracts started on Friday. So lesson learned, definitely take your profits when profits available. And if you're looking to run it up, just, play it as a lotto. Take a flyer, maybe one or two contracts, and see where it goes, right? I should have took profit while profit was available. So that's a lesson learned, especially when you're doing weeklies, right? Usually I like to put my contracts out 2 to 3 weeks just in case. So we lost all the money on those contracts. It went to zero basically. So those contracts expired. So that was lesson learned. As we can see here in Apple, which was funny, right? Because remember, Apple was here. Well, I said here. What is this? That was a February call, right? So disregard that. We were looking at, this is February 2nd. I can't go back to the contract that expired today, 1:30. So I was just looking to kind of show you basically what happened, right? Remember on Apple, we closed the day yesterday at 258, but then the market opened and then, went all the way down to 252, which made the contracts pretty worthless because we opened the contract so far out. Remember, I got 280, I think 280 expiration. So with the contracts being so far, right, from the target price, right, we really didn't have any wiggle room. So that's something to keep in mind. Since we're getting the contract so low, we definitely have to take the profit when profit's available, because as time goes on and Theta eats into the contract, you can expect to lose money on those. We lost about $50 on that particular trade. Remember, we got a small account, so $50 is a lot. We started with 100, so that's half of kind of what we started with. So we definitely don't want to do that. Lesson learned: working on small account, take profits as profits are available. So we weren't wrong in our assessment of Apple this week. We just held too long and should have got out way earlier and got back in if we thought something was going to happen today. So that's something, learn that lesson for myself. What did I get into? I tried to get in Meta. So Meta, I think it's easier if we look at the 5-minute. When did I try to get in? Get this out the way. I tried to get in around here, right? Actually, I got in kind of close to here, right? And I should have, looked at it, and it was kind of popping here, and then around 9:45, 10, the market just everything in the market kind of went down. If you even look at QQQ went up 625. Then 10 o'clock, the whole market kind of dipped. Hold on, what is this? Was this early? Yeah, it went back up and then it came back down. So a lot of stuff went down today. So in the tomorrow morning, if you guys are available tomorrow morning, I will be going over the whole market and where we're gonna chart it and where it could go potentially for next week. Let's look at some plays for next week, and then Sunday I'll put together my tick list. I'll put together a tick list probably tomorrow morning as we go over all the stocks. I typically go through all the stocks that I have and see what could be advantageous moving in the next week and where things could be going. So we'll talk about that. It'll be a pretty long live in the morning, maybe 2 or 3 hours. We're gonna go through everything. It'll stay up. You guys want to check that out when you can, and then I'll use that time to put together my tick list, and then we'll go over the tick list Sunday night before next week starts. All right. So yeah, so market went down today. I think I got in JPM. Remember, I was telling you about JPM. I got into JPM. I had an opportunity to take a little profit, but then it just collapsed on me, and I lost probably half of that. And when I tried to get in JPM, I wanted 3 contracts, but when I looked at it, when I thought I submitted it, it didn't say I had 3 contracts, so I tried to get in again. So actually, I ended up with 6 contracts. We lost, I think I was at $15, so we lost half. So we lost probably $25 on that trade, because I sold it at $8 or $6, actually $6. So we lost more than $9. So that's $9 times 6. So yeah, we lost quite a bit on that contract. Was that $50? Yeah, $50. So it happens like that sometimes. You have to pay attention, and like I said, I didn't want to go heavy. I was only doing 3 contracts. I also lost on, what did I say? Meta. I tried to get in Meta, lost on that. Probably half on that, 50% on that too. So yeah, we took some L's today, but for most of the week we were correcting our assessments where things were going. So we'll be back at it again. Like I said, when you have profit available to you, you go ahead and take the profit. We got lucky, especially on Shopify. So we'll use those lessons that we learned this week to bounce back next week and try to get into some winning plays. All right. So what plays could you have gotten into? Remember we talked about Verizon yesterday. Let's look at Verizon real quick. Tesla. Also, Tesla did pretty good. Duplicate this. Let's look at Verizon. Look at Verizon, y'all. Verizon did kind of what we were talking about, right? Verizon actually went higher than we were anticipating, right? It went past all of this. Remember we said Verizon usually goes up on earnings, and did it go up, right? It went past the 41 that we were talking about. It went all the way back to a previous August, September high of 44. All right. Is this an all-time high? Is that an all-time high for Verizon? No. 47? 47 is I don't know. What's the all-time? Let's look. Let's look real quick. Crap. When was this? This was in 2020, right? So Wow, we didn't even look at the month, right? Verizon has been going crazy this whole month. Let's look at it. Let's look at the 2 week. Let's look at a week. Let's look at a week. It was this week. Verizon kind of took off this week. That's crazy. But we called it. We talked about Verizon. We looked at the chart yesterday. And we put it on the list. I thought about getting Verizon. The reason I didn't get in Verizon, if you look at it, this is the week. Anyway, if you look at it, it jumped so high. It jumped so fast. It was up in the pre-market. Remember when it closed yesterday, it was 30, 39. But in the pre-market, it jumped so high. I was scared to get into it. It was already at 41, 42 when the market opened, but it went all the way up to 44. So we could have made some money on that. On Verizon, and I was looking at it. I was like, wow. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting maybe it was going to go up to 41, 42 and then come back down. But Verizon went to all-time, almost close to a strong high right here, almost all-time high in one day. So you could have made a lot of money on Verizon if you got in a contract. You would have to pay, I think it was like at $30, $40. And I'm like, I'm not going to pay $30, $40 for Verizon. But hindsight is 2020. Maybe I should have paid that. Verizon did really well today, right? And we called it out. Another part, Tesla did really well. Well, for a little bit in the morning. So right here, if we look at the 5 minute, we can make this bigger. All right, so let's look at the 5 minute. Tesla came, and I was kind of looking at Tesla, but I also, like I said, I was really more focused on Meta, and Apple kind of disappointed me. So I was looking at Meta and JPM because I thought maybe the finance sector was looking to bounce back, right? But the market went down as a whole, so we didn't really see that. But yeah, look, Tesla came, and these contracts are really affordable. I think it's like $40, $50, and it went all the way up to like $2, $3. I think it was like $2. The contract went up to like $2 or $3, which is like $200 or $300. And I was like, man. But it kind of, you would have to get in like around 9 o'clock, 4:25, and then it just went stupid. Big jump all the way back into this range, the previous day range. After that tank, not previous day, Wednesday, as it had tanked. Right. So I was looking at Tesla, but I just missed the opportunity to get into that. You could the plays were Tesla. You could have been a Verizon, and also nvda. Let's look at nvda. Right. I mean, even just look at the hour, right? Nvidia came down, and then Nvidia went stupid, went all the way up to. I mean, it just kept going up all day, right? I was surprised with Nvidia. Was Nvidia on the list? Nvidia was on the list, but the way it was going, I didn't think it was gonna get back here. I thought it was gonna, come back down and stay down the way the market was, and then just reverse something crazy. Let me show you the 5 minute chart. Right, it came down. What was I looking at? It came down here, and then I thought it was gonna come down like everything else, but then it just popped. I was watching that. It was a crazy pop. I was kind of watching. I was shifting through a few tickers to see which, and I was like, okay. And it popped. It sure did. So we missed that one as well. So we missed Verizon, Tesla, and nvda. Those were kind of the profitable ones. I didn't look at anything else. I kind of was focused on those two, or some other things. So I actually wanted to get in QQQ, but QQQ was too expensive. It was like 100 a contract, or close to 100 a contract, and that's, I only like to get in QQQ if it's like $30, $40, 20, $30, $40. That's typically the most I would like to spend on a contract. Like I said, we're working with a small account, so maybe 30, 40, maybe 20, 30% of the money we get to play with on a daily, which is like $200 or a little bit, is what we want to do for one contract, because you never know. But yeah, we'll wait for QQQ volatility to come down. Okay. And that was pretty much the day today. After probably around 10, 11, 10:30, 11, I just stopped looking at it. Losses are hard, but that's part of it. You just want to minimize your losses. You don't want to hold too long. And then sometimes if you're in a contract and you're just like, well, I'm willing to let this go to zero. So I wasn't willing to let someone else go to zero, but should have took profit when profit was available, right? That's the number one rule when you're playing this game. You take profit while profit's available, because you never know day to day what's going to happen. And also, if you're going to get a contract, especially doing 0 days or expiring contracts on the week, you definitely want to get in and get out of those, especially we push it out so far. When you get a profit, take your profit. That's the rule for this week. Whether it's 20, 30, 40, anything 15, 20% and above, take your profit, move on, play another day. And we definitely should have did that. That was a lesson for this week. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for tonight. Everybody stay warm. I know where I'm at, I'm in Tennessee. Weather's going to drop for us. Probably get a few, maybe 2 inches of snow. Maybe. Doesn't really snow that heavy around this way. So yeah, stay warm wherever you are in the world. And if you're in a warm place, lucky you. Trade Shark JC signing out. And I will catch you guys tomorrow morning. And we'll go over all the stocks and see where the market could potentially be going. Have a great rest of your night. Peace.